Good morning, everyone. We're going to start off and take a couple deep breaths. All right, I don't have my bell out here either. I'm just not on the ball lately. Clearing the energies. I've released a lot of fear this morning and it has been very uncomfortable. So I know the eclipses are working me. I don't know how you guys are all feeling. Couple things on my website. I've got 3-card tarot and/or oracle reads for $33. You pick the decks. And then I've got a new offering called the Gratitude Experiment. That's $333, and it's a year's worth of gratitude, 5 to 10 minutes a day. We'll start that in October. And then I want to say there was one other thing. Give me just a second. Pranic Healing, I'm doing some one-on-one offerings too. That's down in the pop-up tab. It's good for every ailment. The cool thing about energy work is if you have to work or can't get off work or your distance, you can go about your normal day and I can still do the energy work. I do send a quick text when I'm done, just to check in. And then the card reads can be through email or through Google Live. And then if you're wanting to kind of become a sovereign woman, I mean, obviously, I'm not assuming that everybody listening is a woman, but if you are a woman and you want to become sovereign and kind of get into all of this spiritual stuff and self-discovery and reclaiming your power and your sensuality and your grace, I offer the Sovereign Woman box. I'm doing that right now instead of in-person retreats. That is $3,333. I'm taking pre-orders right now through November and hope to have the boxes out by February. It is a great opportunity to have access to all the information I've learned in the last 6 years of my shadow work. And it's great for people who can't necessarily or don't want to go on in-person retreats. So I highly recommend looking into that as well. Okay, I don't think there's really anything else. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me, obviously. All right, what messages today? Direct communication. Go to the person. Enough grapevining. Ooh, throat chakra, 5th chakra, Archangel Gabriel. Clear communication. Speaking clearly. Go to that person. I feel like there's lots of miscommunication and in between when there's too many parties involved. If you have a problem with someone or you need to know something, then go speak to that person. Hostilities, defensiveness, your guard is up. Let's get into this a little bit more. It's just not a good idea to gossip. If that person isn't present, their name does not need to come out of your mouth. Sound like a mom. I am a mom, but you know what I mean. This is advice that I am learning to take also. I've had a lot of sisterhood wounds and childhood stuff coming up lately, and I think that's been triggered because I've been taking my kids back to their schools, high school and junior high. Just that cattiness and just the different ways that girls and women have had conflict and the talking behind your back, and one minute you're friends and the next minute you're not, and just all of that drama and just the sisterhood wound, and just feeling comfortable in your skin. And that's just such an, adolescence is such an awkward time in lives. It's so awkward. So that's been triggering me a lot lately with the back to school. You know, you're growing, you don't really know who you are, you're trying to fit in and be like everyone else. And I'm maybe not, but this is just my perception of it. You know, your feelings get hurt real easily. You feel kind of insecure a lot of the time, not real comfortable in your own body or your skin, self-esteem, self-confidence issues. It's just a weird time period in lives, I believe. At least I had a lot of hard time during that time in my life. Letting go. So the leaves are changing. There's some sort of change. Old needs to fall away. Forest temple enlightenment. Maybe you've been doing some throat chakra work. I recommend yelling and screaming into pillows, saying things that you never said that you wanted to say. You don't have to say it to them, but just getting it out of your system, out of your, energetic body. And like all of this is like you're on the right path. This is all teaching you, leading you to something. Your voice. Maybe you're nervous that you're going into it defensive, like you're going to get negative responses. Perhaps in the past you weren't received very well, or there's just fear around speaking your truth, speaking up, saying what you feel. But it's like letting go of that fear, like speaking and being heard, sharing your message, sharing your voice is part of your path. So you're going to want to work on that. Public speaking could be a fear of yours. I know in college, high school you didn't really have a lot of choice, but in college I would drop every single class that you had to do a presentation on. I hated it. It's the fear of being seen. If you assume everyone's judging you and picking you apart and making fun of you, and you're gonna mess up, and it's just uncomfortable. Yeah, you might be some sort of presenter, public speaking of some sort. And maybe that's not what you want to do or thought that you were going to do, but it seems like that might be something that you're going to be doing. I also notice her heart is lit up green. So maybe you think that this thing that you don't like to do, or don't think you like to do, and is not for you, once you get over that initial anxiety about it, it's going to be something that you really love. I know it seems weird. I know when I started making these videos, I did 45 videos over 20 hours long that go with my Sawdust to Stardust offering. And I just felt so much more comfortable. I knew it was like to a specific collective, but anytime I would get onto the public part of it, I felt very uncomfortable. And I'd start a lot of my videos with me not being in them. And now I notice that when I do the videos like inside that I'm not in, I like this more. I feel better about it. I enjoy it. Whereas before it was so awkward and I hated every minute of it, and just now I'm like, meh, okay, whatever. Now, could I go and do this in front of a bunch of people watching me? Probably not at this point. But I'm working on that, which is another reason why I want to do my virtual classes and do some personal reads because I really don't have a hard time talking to people. I mean, I can go up to strangers and start a conversation, but like, there's just certain things that are more uncomfortable than others. But what I'm saying is something that might feel uncomfortable or you might have anxiety about might end up being something that you really, really enjoy. See the humor in it. Levidity, perspective, wisdom, playful. So like shifting your perspective about this, like this could be a positive thing. You don't have to be so serious. Like just, it's okay if you mess up. It's okay if you stutter. It's okay if you look at the floor the whole time. Like the more you do this thing, the more comfortable you're going to be doing it. And then it'll just be kind of like, well, what was that? Why was I so nervous to do that? Maybe something happened in a past life, just a past experience, just fears in general. Which is kind of funny because I've been kind of nervous about doing one-on-one card reads. And that's exactly what they're doing. Like, it's okay. Like, let it be fun. Everything doesn't have to be so serious. You know, you get your little note card and you stand like this when you're reading your speech. You don't want to mess up, you practice it. But like if you just got up there and like spoke from your heart and used it as a backup, you know, the information I think rolls off your tongue. It's just getting out of your head about it. Spiritual adventure, 39. Travel, education, experience, inspiration. You might be teaching people about your spiritual awakening. Hence my sovereign box. Pretty much everything on my website is everything I've learned from my spiritual awakening. Your path might lead to education and traveling. You're gonna maybe share your experience with the world. A lot of times your experience becomes medicine for someone else. I'm thinking about doing an activities coordination position across the street temporarily, and she was just talking about how her experience of like having a family member in assisted living, and then now she has like a support group, so the people that have family members in assisted living can come. So it's like everything that she's learned, she's able to pass forward to give them, you know, peace of mind, and she can remember when she was in that position and kind of what she wanted to know and hear. Kind of 1313 on the timer. Kind of like when I was going through my own spiritual awakening, and it was terrifying, and no one I knew was going through the same thing. Like I'm the one of the first ones, which it makes sense to me why. I'm not going to get into that, but it's like stuff I wish I would have known. And I know that now that's stuff I'm to teach other people. Or just anything that you experience, a lot of the times you help other people through that because you've been through it. And you know, you would think that you would want to learn from somebody who's experienced it. They seem that they would have probably more knowledge than somebody. So say you're going to buy a vacuum from someone, you probably want to buy a vacuum from someone who knows vacuums and has tried vacuums instead of going to somebody who's doesn't even know what a vacuum is and they're trying to sell it to you. Do you like vacuums that you can see the dust? Because I sure do. It kind of grosses me out and it makes me never want to lay on my carpet. But at the same time, it's like, oh my God, that came out of my carpet. I can't look away. Dance. Move your body to music. Dance with the rhythm of life. Manifest your dreams through dance. Okay. Well, that doesn't have anything to do with dance, but maybe you're a singer. and maybe you feel a little insecure about your voice, or you're not sure how people are going to like your voice. Just the dance card reminded me of singing. And even when you try these things for the first time, go into it lightheartedly. Maybe you're going to take a dance class and you have no idea what you're doing. Well, you got to start somewhere. That's why they have classes for you to learn. Which I've always wanted to take one of those stripper pole dance classes. I don't know if they have those in your area. I one time won $100 at a bar in Arizona for a stripper contest. And when you think of stripper, you know, they have that movement about them, the way that they move, like that fluidity. I don't know how to describe it. And I think there were like 4 or 5 people at this bar, and I decided I was going to do it too. And these looked like, I would guess, legit strippers, because they did the stripper dance. They did the, I don't know, like that snaky kind of, and I get up there and it's just like, what is this clown doing? And then I get on the floor and start doing this like cat crawl thing. It was embarrassing, and I won. I called my mom at like 3 a.m. to tell her I won a stripper pole contest. Now that's something to be proud of. Maybe you're a really good dancer and you're afraid to put yourself out there too. Or you're good at things and you're afraid to talk about it. You're afraid to talk about the things that you're good at. Like it might jinx you, or like you need to toot your horn more. You're good at things and you're afraid to talk about it. Completion, the world. You might be shy, and that's coming to an end. Comfortable in your skin. Last message on that. 2 messages. Whatever it is you're afraid of doing, do it, because you're going to succeed and have some sort of partnership, some sort of career in it. And I should have went with my first message. Hold on just a second. And it's going to feel so good and so at home that you're going to be like, why in the hell was I ever scared to do this? Like, this is something that you're meant to do. Do it. You're going to feel so comfortable and be such a natural, and it's just going to come to you, and it's just going to move through you in ways that you didn't even fucking know. Do it.